Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something really critical in our digital world.
Yeah, something that affects pretty much everyone.
Exactly. We're talking about controlling who sees your health data, your really sensitive personal health information.
Especially now with electronic health records, EHRs becoming standard.
Right, those digital charts. And we also see these big national systems like India's Ayushman Bharat health accounts, ABHA.
Yeah. And as all this information goes online, managing it, knowing your rights, it's just crucial.
So the big question, really, the one our sources seem to zero in on is, how does consent work here? How do you stay in control?
That's the absolute core of it. Consent. Our sources really hammer this home.
Okay, so consent is key. We get that. But, how does it actually function in these digital systems? What power do I really have?
Well, the good news is, based on the material we looked at, systems like ABHA are fundamentally built around you.
Me, the patient.
Yes. The principle is that only the individual, only you, can initiate the sharing of your own records.
Ah, okay, so it's not shared unless I say so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sharing only happens after you give explicit consent. You're the gatekeeper.
So it's definitely not an opt-out thing where you have to figure out how to stop sharing.
No, it's opt-in. The control really starts and, well, ends with you. That's the base principle.
You hold the keys. Got it.
Precisely.
Okay, but here's something I wonder about. What if I have, a long medical history, records from different places linked to my account? If I say, yes, share, does that mean, boom, everything? The whole history is suddenly visible.
Ah, good question. And no, absolutely not. That's where this really important concept comes in. The sources call it granular consent.
Granular, like grain by grain, little pieces.
Exactly like that. Think specific. Itemized control. Giving consent digitally doesn't mean you're opening the floodgates to everything.
Okay.
You can give consent to share only selected health records. You choose which ones.
So I could say, share this lab result, but not that consultation note.
Yes. Or share these records from Hospital A, but not Hospital B, or even just one specific record for one specific purpose. You can give consent separately for each record.
Wow. Okay, that changes things.
Yeah.
That level of detail, it means just linking records doesn't automatically expose everything.
Right. You keep that specific control over what gets shared, when it gets shared, and who sees it.
That's huge. Now, the sources do mention, and it makes clinical sense, that sharing, all the relevant stuff with your doctor is usually best for getting the right diagnosis or treatment.
Yes, that's definitely recommended for good clinical care, but crucially,
the choice is still mine.
The choice remains entirely yours. That's underlined. It's about empowering you.
And that empowerment, this control, it connects to this bigger idea, right? Patient-centered care.
Absolutely. It's a cornerstone, giving you access to and control over your own health information. It fundamentally changes your role.
How does it lead to, say, better health?
Well, understanding your conditions better, for one. Tracking things over time. It helps you become a much more active partner in managing your own health.
Instead of just being told things, you're involved.
Exactly. You're leveraging your own information for your own well-being.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. What about the government? We hear concerns about government access to data. How does consent work there, according to the sources?
Right, that's a really important distinction the sources make. For potential government use, like for public health analysis, from systems like ABHA.
Yeah.
The plan is that protocols for anonymization and aggregation have to be defined first.
Anonymization, meaning stripping out anything that identifies me.
Correct. Making it impossible to link back to an individual. And aggregation means grouping data together. These protocols need to be developed through extensive consultations with everyone involved, stakeholders.
So this isn't happening right now with my personal identifiable records?
No. After those rules and safeguards are formally set, then anonymous aggregated data could be used.
For what kind of purpose?
For things like, understanding disease trends, planning public health programs, things that serve the public interest. But the sources are clear. Until these protocols are defined and implemented, your individual identifiable health records are not used by the government.
Okay, that's a critical point. Using anonymous data for public health trends is very different from someone accessing my specific chart.
Entirely different. Accessing your personal identifiable records still needs your specific granular consent, just like sharing with a doctor.
And the public health use is only with data that's been, transformed to protect privacy.
Exactly. And even the rules for that transformation have to be formally agreed upon first.
And all of this the consent, the privacy, it relies on strong safeguards,
Yeah.
right? Technical stuff, administrative rules.
Absolutely critical. The sources really emphasize this. Implementing these digital health systems means following the rules, strict rules.
Like data privacy law.
Yes. In India, for example, that means the IT Act, the newer Digital Personal Data Protection Act, plus specific guidelines from the National Health Authority and the Minister of Health and Family Welfare. These create the protective framework.
What kind of protections are we talking about? Things a user might actually, experience or benefit from.
Several layers. Data encryption is a big one.
Scrambling the data.
Right. So unauthorized people can't read it. And that's both when it's stored at rest and when it's being sent in transit.
Okay. What else?
Strict access controls, making sure only people with a genuine need can see specific information. And audit logging.
Audit logging. What's that? Sounds technical.
Think of it like a security camera log for your data. It keeps a secure record of who accessed your information, what they looked at, and when.
Ah, so there's accountability, transparency.
Exactly. It lets you or auditors see who's been looking at your records. Plus, strong anonymization techniques are vital, especially for any secondary uses like that public health analysis we talked about.
So these laws and tech measures, they're like the foundation making sure my control, my consent actually means something.
They're the backbone, yes.
Yeah.
They ensure the system protects your choices and your privacy. It's like how ABHA in the U.S. gives people rights to access their info.
Right, I've heard of ABHA.
These frameworks globally, including the Indian regulations, are all part of this move towards empowering individuals with their own health data, giving you not just access, but control.
Control over who else sees it.
Precisely. That's the crucial addition these consent models bring.
Okay, this deep dive has been really, really helpful. It makes it so much clearer how central my consent is meant to be in all this, especially with systems like ABHA in India showing it in action.
Yeah, it shows the aim is to build the technology around empowering you, not just, making paper records digital.
So wrapping this up then, the big takeaway, loud and clear from the sources. When it comes to your digital health records, your consent isn't just some checkbox. It's the absolute core principle.
It's everything.
And we see legal frameworks worldwide like IPO or India's IT Act and Digital Personal Data Protection Act backing this up, protecting your data, confirming your right to access it. And initiatives like ABHA, they're trying to put this into practice, putting the power in your hands, letting you decide which specific records go where and to whom.
Granular control.
Right. And that government use piece is key too, limited to anonymized, aggregated data for public good. After rules are set, keeping your personal stuff private without your okay.
So understanding your rights, how consent works, how the data is protected, it's really essential for everyone navigating digital health now.
Yeah, it empowers you to actually use these systems confidently. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. By actively engaging, by using that granular consent, you're not just sort of passively protecting your privacy.
You're playing an active role.
Exactly. You're helping shape how this technology works for individuals now and, well, into the future. So what does that active participation, that control mean for how you think about managing your own health journey going forward?